It's been about 2 weeks since I haven't been talking about on this sutra. The sutra on the book, on the surface of the book, it says the smaller Sukhavati Vyuha. You still remember what Sukhavati means? Sukhavati? Vyuha? What is Sukhavati Vyuha? Sukhavati is the land of bliss. Vyuha, significant display. So this sutra gives you a significant display of the land of bliss. Land of bliss, bliss is another word for heaven. So we want to go to heaven. Everybody said, I want to go to heaven. Do you know where heaven is? Do you know how to go there? Do you know, whenever you go anywhere, you have to be, like you go into a university, you go into anywhere, you have to justify your qualifications for going over there, for example. Are you qualifying going over there? Everybody says we want to go to heaven. How to go there? Where is it? What is in there? Why do we have to go there? All these is contained in this. So we don't just talk about I'm going to heaven. The conditions of heaven, location. So in other words, when you study this sutra, you also study the heaven concept of the Buddhist teaching. It is one of the many sutras that contain the heaven concept. There are other sutras that contain information on that, on the heaven. So when you come to think of it, it's very detailed. Let's just say, when I die, I want to go to heaven. How? Where? When? Why? The sutra on Amitabha Buddha, why is it also called a sutra on Amitabha Buddha? Because in that land of bliss, in that heaven, who is the principal in there? It's just like at UBC, you got a principal, and Simon Fraser, you have a principal. At home, you got a principal at home. You're the dad, you're the mom, or you're the granddad, you're the grandmom. There's got to be a principal. Who is the principal in this land of bliss, or in this heaven? Amitabha Buddha. Here's this principal in there. And other than the principal, there are also others, assistants, professors, staff. All these people are there. All these bodhisattvas are there. What is a bodhisattva in very general term? Very, very general. Of course, we have to define what a bodhisattva is. In general term, what is a bodhisattva? A Buddha to be. This bodhisattva is a Buddha to be. He has practiced for many, many eons of time. He practiced. What did he practice? Many, many deeds, virtuous deeds. Well, we have gotten into that. So bodhisattva is a Buddha to be. The Buddha to be. And there are many Buddhas to be over there. There are also many arahats over there. There are many sotapannas over there. There are many sakritigami over there. There are many anagamins over there. I already have finished explaining the whole page 1 except for, and with Sakra, the Indra or king of the Devas, and the Brahman, Sahapati, with these many other 100,000 Nayutas of the sons of the gods. Now, today I would like to finish this last 4 lines. So in there it talks about gods. Gods is another name for devas. And when we study a religion, we always relate a religion to gods. The Buddha said that there are many, many gods. Gods is in another existence, like humans is in another existence. Gods is another existence. The gods are a higher level than us in terms of intelligence, in terms of happiness. They are free from suffering, but they still have to go through reincarnation because they really haven't achieved anuttara samya sambuddhi. They are just a higher level than us. So when you say, I believe in God, God created me, that's not the case in the Buddhist teaching. You're not created by God. You're not created by a creator. Then how do I come about? Why do I become what I am today? There's so many explanations on that. If people say, where am I come from? How is this world created? A very simple kindergarten answer would be, we are created. Like a carpenter create a desk, a chair. It's not that simple. It's not that I'm created by God. Just a superficial assessment on this statement that we are created by God, this statement is illogical. If you are created by God, who created God? And who created that create God? There's no, like a chicken and egg. What comes first, chicken or egg? So there's no end to it. It's illogical. But anyway, we're not getting into that. We want to finish this page, 3 lines, so we carry on. Now we call it the last 3 lines. The first page talk about the congregation members. When the Buddha was talking on this sutra, there are many, many attendants who attended the Buddha's assembly, congregation, when the Buddha talked about the universe. This sutra also talk about this cosmology. What is cosmology? Cosmology, generally speaking, is the layout and development of the universe. Don't you have to understand the layout and development of the universe? Or just say, oh, the universe is created by God. That's simple. No. You've got to understand its location. You're going to understand how is it developed. The first page talk about many, many levels of different existence of sentient beings attended the Buddha's congregation and listened to the Buddha's teaching. And I've gone through all those Bodhisattvas and Arahats. And now we come to there is also a king of Devas. The king of Devas is the ruler of Trimsa's heaven. There's 28 heavens, is one of the heavens in there. And this king particularly, why did he attend the Buddhist congregations? Because he vowed to be a protector of Buddhism. He wants to protect Buddhism, the Buddhist teaching. He was once a Brahmin in Magadha, India. He cultivated the 10 virtuous deeds and was reborn in Triyamasastri heaven as his king. So he was one of the attendants. And he practiced the 10 virtuous deeds. Well, we should talk about the 10 virtuous deeds later. This is one of the attendants. Now, when we talk about, last time we talked about the cosmology of the universe, we have to understand how the universe was laid out in the whole galaxy. In other words, what are the different existences? It's worth getting back to this picture again. Existence is in 3 levels. The Kamadhatu level, which is the desire realm, the Rupadhatu, which is the form realm, and the Arupadhatu. So in other words, existence, ascension beings exist in these 3 existence levels, the 3 planes of existence. And right now, we are at the lowest level in here, desire realm. Beings in here differ in degree of happiness, but they are all other than Buddhas and Arahats under the domination of Mara and are bound by sensual desires which cause sufferings. In other words, in this world is full of suffering. This world is full of suffering. If you don't know, if you deny suffering, you say, this world is all happiness. This world has no suffering. I mean, you should know better because you just open up the newspapers, you can see a lot of suffering, wars, catastrophes, natural disasters, you name them. So this world is a world of suffering. And this world is a world of desire. So when you talk about the Buddhist teaching, you have to introduce the concept of suffering of the world. So this desire realm, we are in the Kamadhatu, which is the desire realm. We have desires for wealth, for eating, for desire for sexual misconduct, and we have different desires. Because of these desires, because we want to fulfill these greedy desires, we by all means try to satisfy these desires. And in the process of trying to develop and satisfy these insatiable desires, we create karma. For example, I have the desire to possess. But right now, I don't have that ability. I don't have the money. So I want to possess by stealing. I want to steal. I want to break in. I just want possessions, but I'm poor. But I don't want to be poor. So you start to steal. So you are dominated by that greediness desire, and that desire has driven you to steal. Or you have that desire to commit sexual misconduct, to satisfy your sexual desire. Then you want to find an object of the sexual conduct, and sometimes you may not be able to find it. You may conduct criminal offenses like, you know what I mean, raping and injuries and all that will come out. So because of these desires, you want to satisfy your desires. Sometimes you want to satisfy desires by legal means, sometimes by illegal means. That's where we are staying. We're in this desire realm. But you've got to understand this concept very, very clearly. It will help you also to promote the Buddhist teaching. Or not just to say promote, you also have to help to understand the world better. If people around you, they're always dominated with desires, and in the process of satisfying the desires, they hurt you or they hurt others, that you know that is a characteristic of this desire world. So we are in here. And this world has within this world, this desired realm, there's 3 paths of reincarnation, 3 categories of existence. Humans, you and I, we're humans. Human realm, we call it. We're in the desire realm. And then we have the animals realm. And what else? Maybe you can name them to me. I've already talked about it for a long time. Animals realm, humans realm, animals realm, what others? Ghosts realm. Ghosts. There are ghosts realm. Some people may not believe that there are ghosts. I can't see ghosts. How can I believe ghosts? Some scientists say, I cannot prove the existence of ghosts. But they can also they are not able to disprove ghosts. So ghost as a realm. Sometimes we call them spirits, a ghost or ghost realm. What's the population of ghosts? That's an interesting question. As populated as humans. There are ghosts around, everywhere. But sometimes your naked eyes, in certain circumstances, may make you be able to see it. And sometimes, usually, we're not able to see them because our eyes are structured in such a way that the wavelength, the light waves, are not in conformity with the ability to see this ghost. But sometimes some people were born with this kind of eyes that can see ghosts. I know at least 10 people who occasionally be able to see ghosts. And they tell me different stories about them. I can tell you many, many stories about these people actually seeing ghosts. I know them. I always mention the stories, but I don't have time today to tell you a lot of ghost stories. I don't want to scare you off. So I don't want to tell so many ghost stories. But there are people who can see ghosts, seeing ghosts. And which is a little bit higher level. There are people who not only be able to see ghosts, they be able to communicate with ghosts. In other words, they can talk to them. They can sense them. And sometimes you call them the mediums. And we always visualize a lady with a crystal ball in an old town, maybe just next to Chinatown, looking at the crystal ball, and then who is shaking his body, and then these 2 guys coming into the shop and say, where is my my husband who's dead last year. And then this lady, usually they say a gypsy woman, not necessarily a gypsy, look at the crystal ball and they start shaking and shaking and telling, oh, I see your husband comes up now. He's going to talk to you. It happens. It happens like that. Have you ever, you should have seen that movie, what is that movie called? Ghost, right? What, Goldberg? What's that, huh? No, there's another lady who played the gypsy woman, the black lady, Whoopi Goldberg, right? And it was shaking and it's sharp and then say, oh, it's coming up. She was just putting a show, it's not real. But they are real medium. They are real, but the ghost, sometimes if that woman was really the medium of a ghost, the husband was able to possess that lady's body and then started to speak. And then, for example, after a while of shaking and then suddenly the voice of that gypsy woman sound like the man's voice, and then they say, hi, Linda. You know what I mean? Linda, I know you've been looking for me. That happened that way. And then started to tell stories. Under my pillow, I still got this $100 bill. And use it properly. Give it to my son. Something like that. And they're ghosts. I don't want to venture too much into the ghost realm. Otherwise, I can't carry on. So there are 3 realms. The human realm, the animal realm, and the ghost realm. What's the 4th realm? The hell realm. There are victims who suffer in hell. There's another level in hell. There's hell. They are victims of hell. And in the sutra, it tells you where it is, its location, in many, many sutras. So we've got 4 realms already, right? And what is the 5th? The 5th realm, Asuras. Asuras. And what is Asuras? Well, let's put Asuras as a last. What is that 5th realm? The God's realm, or the Devas realm. So in other words, these sentient beings are much higher level than us. We call them God, we call them guardian angels, but they are simply just higher level than us. They still have to die, they still have to go through this reincarnation. They are not the creator. There are millions of this God, millions of them. They're just, if I can generalize, spirits that we cannot see, we categorize them, that our eyes cannot see. If we categorize them into 2 broad categories, the good ones and the bad ones. The bad ones are the ghosts. The good ones are these gods. And they're much better than us. They have a higher level standard of happiness than us. These ghosts have a lower level of happiness than us. We're in the middle. You see what I mean? So we got this 5 realms already. And sometimes we just talk about this only 5 realms. There's no 6 realms. In some more ancient sutras, they only mention about 5 realms, 5 levels of existence. And then in some other sutras, it talks about 6 levels, the Asuras. Why did they create another category? Because in these 5 realms, there are, in each realm, for example, in the human's realm, even the human's realm, there are cruel kings. There are the tyrants, the cruel queens, or there are, for example, Hitler. There are humans that are so wicked that they kill a lot of people, and it's classified as a separate realm. So there is Asura in the human's realm. People who kill, people who like Hitler, like politicians who kill a lot of people, who start to wage wars in the country, who occupy countries, who don't really care about people and just they bombard all these territories and kill a lot of civilians and all that. They are classified as the bad people. So they are classified as the Asuras in the human's realm. There are also Asuras in the animals realm. Who are the Asuras in the animals realm? The lions, the cruel lions, the cruel tigers who attack the deers, who attack the tame little raccoons because they kill the crocodiles, all these cruel animals. The animals who are tame, the animals who are cruel, the cruel animals, we call them asuras. Asuras in the animals realm. And how about in the ghost realm? There are ghosts who are very kind, and there are ghosts who are very ferocious. There are ghosts who hurt people, who wanted to get substitutes for them. You know what I mean? They want people to substitute their suffering so that you come, okay, they're trying to make sure that you die and you take their position and they can be reincarnated in somewhere else. Okay, the ghosts, the asuras in the ghost realms too. And how about asuras in the hell realms? Even in the hell realms, there are asuras. So there is asura in every of these 5 realms, and sometimes people split it out and talk about a 6th realm. Asuras is the 6th realms. And how about asuras in the gods realm? Asuras in the gods realm, we call them the semi-god. They're always fighting with the guardian angels, and sometimes we call them that what? The devils, the maras. And in our pictures, in the books we read, we always visualize the guardian angel as a sweet guardian angel with wings, white wings and white guns. And also we visualize this asuras, this devil, as a mara who had long teeth coming out, who hold up, a spear and look very ferocious. Now, these are the asuras in the devas realm, but they are very powerful too. They can dominate people. All right, so we have the 6 realms. All right, so in this desire realm, we have this 6 realms, and we call them the 6 paths of reincarnation. In other words, a human being die, and based on his karma, he could reincarnate into an animal. Who determined where he goes? God? No. Buddha? No. Who determines whether a person, after he dies, would say, for example, become a dog, for example, in the next life? What determines that? Your own action and your own behavior. We call it your own karma. When you are a human, you've been doing bad deeds all the time, you're reincarnated into maybe a dog, maybe an animal. So where you go, it's your karma determines where you go. All right, all this is in the desire realm. And you should ask another question. I know where the humans stay because I'm human. I stay in Canada, and the Orient people stay in the Orient, and they stay where they are in different countries. They have a location, right? They have a location. Animals, I know they have a location. My dog is back home, crocodiles in the lakes, and lions in the wood. All these animal rams, human rams, they have a location to stay, right? Then you ask, how about God? Where do they stay? Gods, there's different gods. Where do they stay? They stay in many places. There's 6 heavens in the desire realms, what I'll show you later in a different slide. Some of these gods also stay in the form realm. There's 18 heavens in here. And some of the gods stay in the higher level. There are 4 heavens here in the formless realm. The gods level is a very high level than us. Now the gods stay in the desire realm here. The lower realm is the lower level god. The higher level gods stay upper and upper and upper. We're not even God. We are humans, so we stay lower than God. You understand? So don't think that the God is the creator. The God also die. They are just higher level. They're higher level of cultivation than us. But this God, sometimes most gods are good. The asuras are bad. The gods will be able to help you if they can. So there are gods around, guardian angels around, who help humans. But there are also bodhisattvas around who help humans. But bodhisattvas, especially the higher level bodhisattvas, they are not guardian angels. They're much higher than guardian angels. In what way? Can you tell me in what way that a bodhisattva, an enlightened bodhisattva, or Buddha would be in a much higher level than gods? Because they're already out of this existence. They do not reincarnate. They're out. They're far out. They are much further beyond existence. The gods still have to exist in here. They still have to subject to their own karma. But the Buddha is free of all karma. They are in a different level. All right, just to give you a very simple explanation. But you really have to study more to know more about Buddha. All right, still talking about the desire realm. There's a lot more to talk about the desire realm. We've been talking about where God is. What is the locations for God? In the desire realm, there are 6 heavens, the lower level heavens, the higher level than us, of course. And their time concept and our time concept, there are many, many differences between heavens and where we're staying now. Let's talk about the time concept that they have. In the first heaven, one celestial day and night is equivalent to 50 years in here. In the second heaven, one day and night is equivalent to 100 years in here. So their time and our time are different. Is it logical? Of course, logical. The time in Hong Kong now is 16 hours ahead of us. Right now we are Saturday, they are Sunday. Anywhere you name, they have a time difference. So a heaven so far away, you think there's no time difference? There's hundreds of years of time difference, not just 16 hours. So there was a story that goes like this. There were 2 guys who practiced, were 2 monks who practiced the Buddhist teaching, and they wanted to verify something. And one monk said, one day we'll have to die. We're cultivating, we're always doing good deeds, and maybe we'll be reborn in good places. I hope to be reborn, I hope to be a Buddha. I don't have to go through this reincarnation again. But just unfortunately, if our practice is not good enough and we fall into this existence realms, maybe we'll inform each other where we go. There's the 3 monks doing that kind of promises. And the first one, okay, we cultivate, and whoever died first, come back to tell us, to tell the ones still living. And then, of course, finally, one person died. They wait and wait and wait. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. No news. So this monk has broken his promise. No news. He told us that he will be coming back through magical powers, not to tell us where he is. He didn't come back. And then after another 12 years, another old monk died. When at the verge of dying, he said, please, come back to tell me where you are, where you're going. Of course, I will tell you. He's dying, right? And then he died. 5 or 6 years, no news. And then one day, he really come back in his dream. It seems to be a dream, seems to be real. And this second monk who died said, I'm coming back to tell you. Oh yeah, I've been waiting for you for 5 years. Yeah, the first monk went to south to heaven, and in that heaven there's 2 locations. One is the outside and one the inside. The outside has a lot of pleasures and enjoyments. He was playing around with all these beautiful girls. He didn't come back. He forgot about coming back. But when I got there, I know that's not right, so I went to the inside of that heaven. The inside of the heaven is a studying of further teaching of the Buddha and carry on the cultivations. So I remember I'm coming back to tell you, the first monk, he enjoyed himself so much in that heaven, because heaven is so much luxury, so much. In heaven, there's no suffering, just happiness. Whenever you want, it comes to you. So I want the best food, it comes to you immediately. The best clothes comes to you immediately. But you still have that desire. I want the most beautiful woman, or I want the most handsome man, it comes to you. So in other words, in heaven, you got all kinds of enjoyment. Then you forgot about your own real nature. You forgot about your promise. So, but then after your due, after all your happiness is all used up, you reincarnate back into the 6th path of reincarnation again. So you see what I mean? So there are 6 heavens in there, in the desire realm. And also there's one thing I forgot to tell you. How come he came back 5 years later? How come it took you 5 years to come back? No, I went over there and opened my eyes and saw, oh, so beautiful. Oh no, I remember I got to go back there. It just seems to be here to be a fraction of time, but then it's 5 years to you, which is logical. Right now in Hong Kong, it's 16 hours ahead. Fortunately, we have the phone. Right now they say, what's the time in Hong Kong now? Oh, we're Sunday afternoon. Oh no, we're only Saturday. Oh, of course, we have a time difference. Give you an example. If someone goes to heaven and he remembered to come back and tell his relatives, he saw so beautiful, everything there, he could forget about it. I've been suffering in this world, and I open my eyes, I die my body, and then I open my eyes in this heaven. Wow, everything was so wonderful. He forgot about going back, telling the relatives. And once he remembers, it's already maybe 100 years. And all this, their mom and dad, the granddad, already dead. They don't know where he is. We are into this desire realm now. And remember, in here, in the desire realm, we have more suffering than happiness. Sometimes we have happiness, but we have sufferings. And whoever, does not matter where you are in this plane of existence, in this universe, you always have to die. Finally, you have to die. There's no exception. You and I. Anybody who does not have to die? Raise your hand. You may not want to die, but you must die. Imagine, one day we must die. Isn't that suffering? All right, so this is the desire realm, and Rupa Dhatu, there's 18 heavens in here, and there's a much higher happiness level than even the heavens in here. 18 of them. And there's no more desires in here, only form exists. Just to give you an example, they don't have any sexual desire. Sexual desire was a burden. People say, sexual desire is good. No, it's a burden to you. You attach to it. That's the reason why you fell. That's the reason why you involve in all these intricacies of life. That's something that you should eliminate. That's something that you should throw out. So being a monk, the first lesson we'll learn is we must get rid of this sexual thought. If you're always dominated by this sexual thought, you're finished. You cannot get out from the desire realm. Only when you get rid of your desires can you get out of that desire realm. So that's why we practice the 4 contemplations. So we are always in we call it a topsy-turvy thought. We turn it upside down. This desire for sexual conduct is extremely bad, but we treat it as joyful. How pitiable we are, how pitiful we are. It's not at all. Because of this, we reproduce. But people can kill for it. People can commit a lot of crimes for it. And the pleasure, quote unquote pleasure, what pleasure you get? It's a self-induced 5 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever pleasure. You thought it is important. You thought that you take it for granted that it is good, but it is the original sin that pull you down, that pull us down. Get rid of it. Why is a monk respectable or non-respectable? Because he or she leads a celibate life. He's half a saint already if he can get rid of that desire. Even a monk, if he's not practicing contemplation of the body, he may look like a good monk, but he may not be good in here, in the purity of his mind. A monk has to practice impurity. You, if you want to be a saint, if you want to be successful in your meditation, you really have to get rid of that desire.